Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. We've been talking about elements and principles of design so far, and today we'll be moving to the interface of Adobe Illustrator. So I'll be introducing you to how Adobe Illustrator works, differences between Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, and also we'll be able to talk about the interface, the panels that we have in Adobe Illustrator, and how to maneuver your way around them and how to get used to them. So shortly I'll be taking you through these procedures now, and I hope you enjoy it. So Adobe Illustrator, this is for you. I believe for you to understand Adobe Illustrator now, Adobe Illustrator is an instrument, is a software that is actually vector based compared to Photoshop now. Photoshop is bitmap based, and what I mean by bitmap now is like Photoshop is based on, it builds its own what's it called, files now, based on dots and pixels. So when you talk about Photoshop now, for instance, when you want to differentiate vector based and pixel based now, these are the things you need to consider. Look at this now. This is a vector based logo. You see that the edges, no matter how much I zoom in, the edges are still smooth compared to this. When I zoom in, you see they are rough. So this two here now is vector is pixel based, while this one is vector based and this one is pixel based. So that is actually the major difference between vector and pixel based elements. So in this case, Adobe Illustrator now is a vector based element, like I said earlier, and Photoshop is a pixel based software. So vectors are scalable images, like I just explained and I illustrated with this, are scalable images and can be sized as small or as large as you need them to be. And vector-based softwares like Adobe Illustrator now, they create they create shapes composed of paints of points, lines, and curves. And while Photoshop creates its own design based on dots, that is pixels. So the Adobe Illustrator and CorelDRAW have similar what's it called now? They have similarities, and because CorelDRAW is also a vector-based software. So now when you open your Adobe Illustrator, it's possible that this is the first thing you see. This is the way this might be your home page. When you start having new jobs, when you start designing, and then you have designs ready and you have your designs here, they will be listed there, at least I think to the top 20 design, like the most recent designs up to 20 that you have done. So to create a new file, all you need to just do is click on create new, but then we'll be getting to that very soon. So let me just take you through what you need to know about Adobe Illustrator, the interface, and you understanding it before we actually move into Adobe Illustrator. So now this is the interface. After you create your new file, this is what you should see in your Adobe Illustrator. So now in this case, I'll outline these things for you. So now in this case now, this is the breakdown, and this is what I'll be using to explain what each of these things does in the next slide now. So just get used to the this is A, B, C, and D. So this is your tool panel, this is your control panel, then this is another panel as well, this is another panel as well. So now each of them, A in this case now is your application bar, this place the application bar, while B is your control panel, this is your control panel, like I said, then this is your tools panel, this is your tools panel. And we'll be working majorly in this particular video. We'll be working majorly on this tools panel and possibly this as well. So this is your tools panel, and then there's another panel on its own as well. So now in this case now, the application bar, you have three major icons there that are actually really specific to your own case now. So now here you have your home bar, and then here you have another I said home bar, I meant home icon rather, and there's another icon used to divide your screen, especially when you're trying to multitask. It's used to divide your screen and then maybe see different designs on the same interface, on the same page. And while this is where you can change your workspace. But then don't bother yourself, we'll be talking about this very soon when we enter into Illustrator. So this is where you can change your workspace. And then this is your control panel. It actually changes depending on the tool you are using, like the tool that you've selected from your tools panel. This will change with respect to that. It will bring out the things that you need for your design, or for the particular tool that you've selected. While this also is another panel, but it helps you easily modify and utilize the tool that actually, if you're working on a particular object now, it brings out things that you can easily use to edit the object that you have selected. Like for instance, if I was working at, let's say, a shape now, I can easily change my colors here, I can easily change my gradient, I can change the stroke, I can work on whatever I want to work on. So this panel also, it works with respect to whatever I have selected here. So it makes me edit them easily. And you can actually edit all these panels to suit your taste, and we'll be talking about that very soon as well. So this PDF will be available in the description or in the course file, so you can easily check them out and then read to you get you're satisfied. So these are actually keyboard shortcuts that you will need for your design. These are keyboard shortcuts that you need for your design, and you should master them on your own time. But you don't need to cram everything at once, because you as soon as you use them, you get familiar with them. So that is. But then this will also be available for you, and you should read at your own leisure. And for people using Windows now, in this case, your CMD will actually be control on your laptop, and while the option key, where you see OPT, you should use alt on your PC. So it is just a major difference for people that don't know the difference between each of these things. So command button is control on PC, while option is alt on PC. So you can, I've listed that here, so you can easily make that, you can easily do without what you want to do with that. So this is how you create a new document, and I'll be showing you that very soon. So this is your Adobe Illustrator interface for beginners. Now this should be what you will see if you're using the same 2020 as I am using. This is what you should see. But then if you are not, probably be using the lesser version or higher version, then the interface should still look similar. So in this case now, when I create on, okay, well, let's start from here. These are actually presets that you can use to style your design depending on what you want to use Illustrator for at that moment. So I can choose to use A4, I can choose to use postcard, but I'm not using any of this now. I'll just take it to where I can create a new. But for instance, if I have probably, maybe I've been working on a particular design before, and I want to open that design again, I can easily click on open. Another thing you can also do is, you can, if your design is part of your, but since you don't have any recent files here, then this option might not work for you. But if your design is part of the recent files that you want to work on, you can easily come to file and then come to open recent, then it will display the designs you've been working on before. So in this case, I'll just click on create new, and then it should bring out the dialog box. But and then let me just talk about this too. So you have your home here, and then you have your learn here. In a case whereby you want to learn, actually you can click on learn in this case. But let me close this first. I'm sorry about that. So in the case where I want to learn, I can easily click on learn, and then it will bring out different things I can actually learn from, different videos, different designs I can actually easily learn from. So you can choose any of them to learn something from them. But since I'm not learning now, I just want to create a new file. So I'll just go to create a new, and then it should bring out a dialog box where I can easily enter my what I want, my presets, and how I want my file to look like it should that time. So yeah, also you can see you still have some presets here. Well, I'm not looking for that, so I'll just, because if you remember now, we talked about colors and some other things the other time when we were talking about colors during our elements class, during the episode on elements of graphic design. So here now you see the difference between creating a design for print and also creating a design for art and illustration. Now in this case, Adobe Illustrator explains or let me say uses RGB for art and illustration, because it believes you're actually using, like for instance, you say a color mode RGB, it believes you'll be using it for a phone or a device Let me put it that way, like it's going to be digital, while print is going to be printed out. So it changes it to CMYK for you as a color mode. So for printing, it's actually preferable if you use CMYK for your printing, and it's best if you use your raster effect as 300. Yeah, you see, it's okay if you're using 300, but then there are some cases where your file will be too big that you won't be able to export using your 300, but we'll be talking about that later. So for this case, since I'm creating for my digital screen, and I'll be using art and illustration, and here this is where I enter my file name. So these are your preset details. This is where I enter my file name, and let me say I'll use intro to Illustrator here now. And then here I can easily change my dimension, and I'll prefer to use something I'm familiar with. So most times I go with centimeter for my designs, and most times I also prefer to go with a square. So I'll just go with something like 25 centimeter and 25 centimeter. So in this case now, you can increase the number of artboards. That you understand what artboard is if you're a novice very soon, but in this case you'll be able to increase the number of artboards that you want to have on your screen. So I'll just use, let's say 2 now. Okay, let me say 4. And here you can easily change whatever you want to change, the top, bottom, and every other thing. And then you have advanced options here. So here's where you can change your CMYK to RGB or RGB to CMYK. But since I'm creating something for a digital device, like I'm creating something for a device and I'm not printing, I prefer to go with RGB. So I'm going with RGB, and then it has actually listed here as screen 72, medium, and high, but I prefer to go with medium in this case. And I think that's all. So I'll just go with default for every other thing. So then I'll click on create. So then it gives me this thing. Now remember I used 4 artboards. So these are your artboards. For my keyboard settings have changed. Like I'm using a different keyboard setting now. So my art, because you can also change your keyboard shortcuts. I'm using a different keyboard shortcut now, but actually aligned it to make it suitable for myself. So you'll be learning how to do that shortly as well for yourself. So in this case now I'll be using my A is my artboard option key, but in your case it should be Shift O, like we said the other time when we were talking about keyboard shortcuts. So if you've observed some things under the keyboard shortcut, then you must have seen that your keyboard shortcut is O. So now in this case, so my artboard is A, and then you can see this is artboard 1, artboard 2, artboard 3, artboard 4. So you can rename your artboards here. Let me see let's change this one to intro, or let's say no, first page. See, changes the name here. So you can do the same for every other artboard. So you can easily make your changes to whatever you're making your changes to. So this are settings on artboard. But so let's just talk about these panels one after the other now. Let's talk about the panels one after the other now. So in this case now, like I said the other time, this is your application bar. Then this is your control panel, this is your tool panel, and this is also a panel on its own that you can easily expand to see other things under it. So you see, this is what I was showing you the other time, and then you have different things on each of them so that you can easily make changes to and then edit to fit your taste. So I'm just going to hide that for now while I talk about other things. So before I go into the application bar and control panel, tools bar, and this panel, I'll just talk to you about each of these. This is like a menu bar, and then if I click on, for those on the Mac, to change the preferences of your Adobe Illustrator, you can easily right click on this, and then it brings out this option, and then you go to preferences and you edit to your taste. But now in this case I'm not editing, but for Windows yours should be under file, and then it should be somewhere around there. You should see preferences or something like that on your Windows. So for Mac now, your preferences is under here, and then each of these options, they have different things that they do. So to make this interface similar with yours, I'm just going to change need to do to change this to what, because this, I feel this is not what your this night I know this is not what your interface looks like currently. It probably looks like something like this. It should be close to what your interface looks like right now. So I have created the workspace to fit into what this about. I'll be creating that again. So let me delete that workspace. So manage workspace, then this, and delete. So all I need to do now is create another. Oh shit, I didn't delete that. I clicked on cancel. So I just delete this, and then Yeah, that's gone. So now to create a new workspace to fit into what you are currently, but then our advice is just use Essential Classic first, because I feel a lot more comfortable with this interface, and I feel it is okay for anybody, because then you have your tools here more explicit than ever, and then I can easily change from here to as well to something. So I need to, if I'm building, because I actually built Energy Media, this interface was Energy Media on Essential Classic, so it is more like for instance, look at the tools here now. I just added some other things to the tools, but if I click on Energy Media, you see just added some other things to it, but it is still similar. So Essential Classic now, I can easily create another workspace built on Essential Classic. I just need to click on this and then click on, let's say, graphics class now. Let's create a new interface for that. Then I click on OK. So I should have graphics class here now. So I can easily edit whatever I feel I need to add to this particular toolbox here. So I can come to window and then click on whatever I feel I want to add to it. So let's say I want to add Pathfinder now. Let's say I want to add Pathfinder to here now. So I can easily bring this in, and you know, if you notice that it just popped up here. But then I think I have Pathfinder there already. Let's say I want to look for this SVG interactivity here. So now you see this, as soon as I clicked on it, it popped up here like a dialog box, and then I can easily drag this into this box to make it, oh sorry, you can also do that, but I prefer everything to be on the particular column, so I'll just bring it down here. So this is how it will look like, and if you, whatever you feel like you need, you can just look for it there and then drag it to that place once it pops up. So that is that about this, and then we'll be going deeper into some of these things later on while we start this, when we start designing. So you can see different things here. You can easily edit your color, the swatches, and some other things, but let me drag this into this particular box so everything is on the same. Yeah, so you see, you have your color, you have your color guide, you have your swatch, you have your brush, and you have your symbols. So you have basically everything that Illustrator things you need for Essential Classic, and because that's what we build graphics class on. So we have everything Illustrator feels you need for Essential Classic, and some other things like that under this particular toolbox. So let's just talk about these tools here right now. You can easily drag it out to make things easier for you. So yeah, this you have different tools here. You can do the same thing for this side, but let's just focus on this one. So you have your selection here, you have your direct selection, and if we look closer, you see that some of these tools here now, they have like a small arrow beneath them. Like yeah, you can see. So once it's to pop that, whatever has an arrow like that means they have other tools under that particular tool. So that means, like for instance, and this is direct selection now. This is the direct selection tool. It means that it's not only direct selection that is there. They have other tools under direct selection, and if you see, I have group selection too under direct selection. So that means I have other things under this as well. So you see, it has, so anything that has that small arrow beneath, then that means it has other things aligned under each of them. So you can just easily pop that up by right clicking on the toolbar on that particular tool, and then it will bring out the things under. So I just go back to selection tool now. So to edit this, because you can also edit this one to suit your taste, you can group the things that you feel need to be grouped together. So but you can do that by just popping this out, and then you see these things here. So I basically have everything under here outside, so you can edit it to whatever you want to edit it to. But I am actually comfortable with the things I have now. You can change it to basic now. See, it gives me that essential look again. So but I need to change it back to advanced, so I need to go back here, and then so you can easily edit whatever you feel you need to edit, and then make it look like what you actually need. So I'll just go back to advanced now, and then I have this. So this is the toolbar, like I said, and then okay, now let's talk about this control panel now. So control panel, in the sense that it actually changes depending on what you are working on, depending on the tool you are using for your design. Let's say for instance I want to work on this rectangle tool now. I'll drag it to my artboard and then come here and change the color to something I want. Let's say this, or let me go with something, my normal color, FFC 900. So this is actually the color. Yeah, so and then let's say I want to do something like this as well, and then have this black color. So if you look close enough, Okay, I'm coming. Let me true color and the fill color, and I'll be telling you more about this very soon. So now, if you look very closely, you see that there's a stroke color and a fill color. So just a rectangle, and then I have a stroke color here and also a stroke color here. So the stroke color is like an outline for the color you're working on. So you can easily change this to whatever you're working on. So whatever you feel like you want to work on. So these tools actually work or align themselves depending, this control bar now actually works depending on what you're actually working on. So for instance, let's say I change to, let's say, rectangle now. Okay, now let me use a rectangle in this case. Let me set a text. You see, once I click on the text and I click on this side, everything actually changes back to the default setting. So let's say for instance I want to go back to my rectangle now. Once I start drawing also, you see some things actually changed. You see some things actually changed. So for instance now, let's say I want to draw like here. Sorry. I want to draw a rectangle. Basically, because I used a text tool last, so I still have some things that actually align themselves with the text box, like the text tool. But once I click on this M and then I start dragging this place and then I release it, everything changes to make sure it fits the rectangle that I'm actually working on. So this is how everything, this is how this control bar actually works depending on the toolbox you're working, depending on the tool you're actually using for your design. So now to change, let me delete that. So to change this stroke color, and for instance, if I don't want the stroke color, I can easily remove this by clicking on changing this to 0. I can easily just drag over there and change this to 0. So then the stroke color is gone. Also, another way you can do that is by just clicking on this box. This is the one on top is fill color. And you can see the difference. The one on top is fill color, and the one beneath is stroke color. So I can easily click on this one and then change it. So I have the stroke color gone. And the same thing, I can also do the same thing for this one. Another thing you can do is just click on switch between each of these things. Just click on your X. If you check the shortcut PDF, you'll see some of these things there. So just click on X and then it automatically switches between the things here. So that's that about the tools, and then once we start applying some of these tools again later on during our course work, and then you start seeing some of these things. And then if you remember, if you've actually not saved this file, so to save your file you just need to click on Command S, or then go to File, or you can easily click on your Command X, or Command S rather, or Control S. Or another way you can do that is go to File and then click on Save or Save As, depending on what you're working on. So I'll just go with Save in this case, and then I can easily just save whatever I want to save to wherever I want to save it. So I'll just use energy media now, and then or then and I can easily add that to this place. So I'll just say intro to AI. So still continue working on this file even in our videos, like in our next classes. So just so that's how you work around your workspace, that's how you work around your tools, that's how you work around Illustrator. That's just the basic thing you need to know about Illustrator to get started. So you already see that these things are actually not difficult to find your way around. So just have to be able to master your tools and then be able to provide whatever you want to provide with these things. So what I tell people, that the person behind the computer is the tool you need. Like that's your best tool. I tell people, and this is like a word of encouragement now for everybody that is listening to this thing, because I have actually found out that, because I see some people who actually do designs now using PowerPoint, and well, at the end of the design it's actually not really bad. You get, so, and I find people that actually use either CorelDRAW, Illustrator, Photoshop, and they are still doing bad designs. So then people in this industry, we believe that Illustrator is actually better than Photoshop with design, for graphic designs, and for somebody to use PowerPoint to deliver a better design than somebody using Illustrator is, I actually find that, well, I won't say bad, because then the person using PowerPoint has actually mastered the tool to be able to deliver whatever he wants to deliver. So this is what I just tell people, like, you are the best tool. You have to work your way. You have to be able to master the tools in your, because it doesn't matter the software you're actually using. You have to just master the particular software and the tools that you have, and then you'll be able to use it to deliver whatever you want to use it to deliver. So that will be the end of the class today. I hope I see you in the next class. Thank you very much.